So welcome to the JavaScript section of the Complete Web Developer course. Here's your final look at the BBC website that hopefully you created at the end of the last section. It's a reminder that everything that we've done so far has been focused on layout and design and style. Other than a very little bit of interaction with forms, we haven't been able to make our websites do anything. And that's what JavaScript is all about. It allows you to make your websites interactive, which will make the user experience a lot better and allow you to create things like games, apps, and web apps that hopefully your users will love. It's also our first look at proper coding. What I mean by that is we can start making software and programs that do something rather than just look a certain way. So it's a big move, a big shift, a lot to learn, but also really exciting. I'm going to just show you very quickly how easy it is to get started with a little bit of JavaScript, and we'll do this in the usual way. So I'm going to say goodbye to my bbc.html page, and I'm going to create a new folder, which I'm going to call 3 JavaScript, and then I'll just call it javascript.html, and that's the main file that we'll be working with. There we go. So we'll change the title to JavaScript, get rid of the style sheet link, which won't work now anyway, and then go back to the start. Almost painful to delete all that code, but it was good fun. Okay, so very quick challenge for you. Can you make this new page appear in your browser? You should be a master of that by now. All right, hope you managed it. All we need to do is update the URL to 3-JavaScript and then javascript.html. There we go. Blank page, but you can see the title up there. All right, so I'm going to show you a very simple way to get a little bit of JavaScript up and running, and we're going to use a button. This is an HTML element that we haven't actually seen yet, but it does exactly what you might think. So it's much like a submit button that we saw in the forms section of the HTML chapter, but by default it doesn't do anything. You have to give it some code to make it do something. So let's tempt our user by putting the words "click me" into the button. Let's have a look. There's our button. So we click it and of course nothing happens. So how do we add our JavaScript? Well, just like with CSS, there's 3 different ways that we can put JavaScript into our websites. And they're exactly the same 3 different ways as with CSS. So the first that I'm going to show you is the simplest, but not the one I'd recommend long term, but it will get us started. So this is inline JavaScript. And instead of, you remember we used style before to get some CSS, we use onClick to get some JavaScript. So this just means that we're going to execute this bit of JavaScript when the button is clicked. Simple as that. And then we put the JavaScript that we're going to execute into these quotes. And a nice simple command is alert. And then we have some parentheses or brackets. And in single quotes, I'm going to put hi. So slightly complicated, but you'll get the idea, hopefully. So this command means alert, and then we have some brackets to contain the instructions about what we want to alert. And in single quotes there, I've put the word hi with an exclamation mark. So this should alert the word hi. What exactly does that mean? Let's run it and find out. There it is. So we get a little pop-up that says hi with a load of nonsense at the beginning, but we can ignore that for now. So feel free to experiment with that a little bit. You can essentially put any text you like there, or numbers, or anything else, and it will appear when the button is clicked. So that's your first teensy bit of JavaScript and a little bit of interaction between your user and your website. In the next video, we'll switch from inline to internal JavaScript, which is going to be a move very similar to the one that we made when we did CSS in the previous chapter.